anticlimactic as hell. That transition takes way too long, bro. What's cracking, trainers? Dude, none of this is all weird. I refreshed everything and I can't find anything, bro. What's up, trainers? Good to see you. We're so here, bro. It's time for a new era, trainers. I'm still here. I'm not going anywhere. I don't know what y'all thought. Y'all thought I was leaving, bro? No. You can't get rid of me that easy. No, absolutely not. But it is incredibly weird having my OBS, like, over there and having everything else over here. This is so weird, dude. What's cracking, dude? River of Peace, bro. What's up, Shenanigans? Stone, good to see you, Zippiest. Rebel Red Gaming, by the way, is going to be our guest of honor this evening. Trying to go through my chat, man. I had my Twitch chat on here too. Pasta, baby, what's up? Good to see you, trainer. Good to see you again. I cannot for the life of me. Dude, this is killing me, bro. I had Streamer Bot and it had a merged chat. It was ready. I'm like, dude, this is the reason I haven't streamed on Twitch, okay? Which, by the way, we're simulcasting to Twitch and YouTube right now, which is the first time I've ever done that. That's pretty awesome. Yo, what's up, Drew? Good to see you. Trainer Econo, you're getting the Switch 2 ready to go? Yeah, you can download it, I think. So, Champions is officially dropping in, I think, 4 hours? I believe it's 4 hours. I'm not going to be able to do it that early because your boy needs to sleep. So, no, what's sleep? I don't sleep. Sleep is a joke, bro. The neurologist has told me as much. Anyway, what's going on, y'all? I'm trying to make it so that I can see everything, and it's incredibly difficult to do, so please give me a little bit of your patience. I'm gonna go ahead and I'm gonna go grab Red Rebel. Oh my god. My brain's just mixing everything up today, bro. Yes, today I am going to be getting things ready, and I've also had Red Rebel Gaming reach out to me when I made that transition video yesterday, and just Red is fine. All right, I'll try to call you Red then. I'm trying to get your full name out there because you're a content creator, trainer, and I'm shouting you out before we even get started. I'm gonna call you now, so it's coming. Okay, I need to turn down the lo-fi down low. Get this trainer in here. So, we'll get him in here.
Hey, what's going on, everybody?
What's going on, Red? How you doing?
Oh, doing good. So, you know, I have you muted so we don't hear ourselves.
It's okay, dude. Okay, dude. As long as you can hear me, you're good.
Yeah.
Okay. So, Red has been playing VGC for as long as I've been gone. He's been playing since Gen 4. I stopped playing in Gen 4. Life happened. I couldn't continue. So, today this trainer is going to be giving you and me and everybody else who's watching the VODs as much information as they can to help get us just start with Champions tomorrow. I'm really excited, dude. So, yo! Nothing there, nothing gained, bro! What's up, trainer? Good to see you.
All right, man. Well, it's good to be here. Thanks for having me.
Sure. Go ahead and yap for a bit. I'm gonna go ahead and try and get some stuff set up. And
you're good, brother.
Yeah.
You do your thing. So I want to start by saying, guys, I've never competed in a live event before. I've played some online tournaments and stuff, but at the end of the day, life happened to me as well. I'm an over-the-road truck driver. That's why if you look at my channel, I don't have a lot going on over there. You know, I try to do what I can when I can, but am I coming through okay?
Yeah. I can. Hey, if anybody can't hear Red, let us know. I'll turn him up. I can hear you just fine though.
Okay, perfect. So don't take this advice like it's coming from a pro. I'm not a pro. But what I have been doing over the years is I've been keeping up with the formats. I've been playing on the online ladders, got to Master Ball tier, and every game that's come out since Gen 4 when Wi-Fi became a thing. So, no, I'm not a pro, but I've kept up with the format, and I feel like I have something to offer someone who is coming from Pokemon Go or just hasn't touched VGC in, let's just be honest, we're all old, 20 years. So
you know what, you might not have the trophies, but you have the experience. And from someone who's played Go competitively for as long as I have, experience makes such a big difference. So even if you haven't won a tournament, dude, I'm still excited to hear what you have to say. And I hope everybody else will be able to get something out of this today too.
I hope so too. That's really the goal here. So I have some notes here to help kind of keep us on track. So I'm going to start with my first point here. So
awesome.
And
don't be in a rush to get started either, because I'm still trying to figure out where the hell I put my streamer bot so I can try and get this to work again. Well, you go ahead when you're ready, bro. I didn't lose you, did I? Oh, no. Also, what's up, Idash? Good. Thank you for dropping in. Appreciate you.
Am I still here?
Yeah, you cut out for a minute, but you're back.
Okay. Okay, hold on a second.
Hey, yeah, you're good, dude.
Okay, I guess I'm going to have to do it like this. I'm doing this on my phone.
No worries, man. No worries at all.
So, you know, when we're talking about doubles versus singles, the two formats are very different, and it's really up to the individual, you know, what you kind of vibe with. And I can't really speak much to singles, just because I've never really experimented much with it. But to give an example, when you have two Pokemon on the field, you have combinations of types. Okay, so you know, you have a partner that can cover your weaknesses and vice versa.
Mm-hmm.
So in singles, you're swapping out a lot to cover for those weaknesses. And hazards like spikes, stealth rocks, toxic spikes, stuff like that.
Oh my god, I remember that. Oh my god, the PTSD from Skarmory setting spikes. Okay.
Exactly, and that's going to continue to be a real thing in singles. So it really just depends on what kind of playstyle you vibe with, you know?
Yeah.
To me, singles is pretty gimmicky. That's just my opinion. That's my take on it. It's pretty gimmicky to just be swapping out all the time. And then, you know, and it's only 3v3. In doubles, you have a lot more opportunity to, how do I put this? Expand your strategies.
Sure.
Now, you mentioned to me earlier, because I actually sent you a team for this stream.
Yeah.
You have common strategies. And I'm sure if you search YouTube, there's crap all about this on YouTube right now. And so you got your sun teams, you got your rain teams, you got your sand teams, you got your snow teams. All this stuff works in VGC and in doubles, but the reason why it tends to work better in VGC is because you're not just sending out your feather setter and then swapping out to your attacker. You know, he's right there on the field with you 9 times out of 10. To give an example is Mega Charizard Y, which is obviously a fan favorite and is going to be very popular.
Yep. It sets up the sun, right?
Yes, he does. He has the ability Drought. He sets up the sun for 5 turns, and you want to pair him with something that works well in that. And what you'll tend to see, because you know, of course, Drought has other effects too. Sunny Day also has the damage from water moves. If I'm not mistaken, I believe it still gives Fire Blast 100% hit chance, and it also.
Well, if y'all have been following me from Go, y'all know I love me some heavy hits, bro. Sign me up for a Sunny boosted Fire Blast any day, bro.
I'm the same way. You know, that's actually what I played a lot back in X and Y was my Charizard Venusaur.
Yeah.
Now, there's no confirmation of what the move pool that we're going to get is, but if we get the pledge moves, which is Grass Pledge, Fire Pledge, Water Pledge, which were moves specifically designed for doubles, and they're ridiculous. Like you end up with if you have 2 of them on the field, like Grass and Fire Pledge in this example, you end up with a base 150 power fire move coming off of Charizard's base. What is Mega Charizard's base special attack? I don't know. Whatever his base special attack is, you know. Okay, because it in chlorophyll or in the sun, if you have a Venusaur with chlorophyll, his speed is doubled, so he actually outspeeds Charizard.
Oh,
so
well, that's
the way
good to
that
know.
interaction works is really cool.
Mm-hmm.
And then the secondary effect of that move of Grass Pledge and Fire Pledge actually leaves, quote unquote, the ground burning and damages your opponents for I believe it's like 16th or an 8th or something like that per turn at the end of each turn.
Okay.
So I mean, there's a lot of strategies like that in doubles, and again, we won't know for sure what exactly is available until the game launches. Obviously, that's why I don't put a whole lot of stock in things like Pokemon Showdown.
Yeah.
Because that's pure speculation at this point in time.
Right.
You know, there's just so many unknowns right now.
Oh, Stone, it will be available for you to download on your Switch in about 3 3/4 hours. So at this moment, you're not able to get it, but it's coming soon.
Okay, yeah, this seems like a good chance to plug that website I sent you, championslabs.xyz.
Okay.
It's a fantastic website that's already designed for champions.
Okay.
It has a team builder, and it actually, you know, you can design your team with stat points rather than EVs and see what your actual numbers would be.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I wouldn't pay too much attention to the move pools or anything like that, but that's a fantastic resource that I've been looking at a lot.
Mm-hmm.
And if you actually look at their homepage, they have a timer right here. 3 hours, 45 minutes, and 0 seconds is what
I'm looking at it right
champion.
now. Let me go ahead and try and pivot over because I got a bunch of stuff. I'm still trying to figure out this stupid that thing that I had figured out before we went live, and now it's.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Okay, so, you know, you got 2 Pokemon on the field. That's the biggest difference. And, you know, there's obviously some similarities. It's still Pokemon.
Yeah.
At the end of the day.
Yeah.
So, you know, your type matchups are going to remain the same.
Okay.
Right? It's how you apply them is going to be different because obviously there's something else on the field that can threaten.
Mm-hmm.
And like you said earlier, the biggest advice, just like in Pokemon Go, the biggest advice that I'm going to talk about today is just practice. You know, get that experience, learn what these teams are doing, whether you win or lose. And if you guys want to check out, I don't know what I call you, brother. I'm sorry, Xehr.
You call me Xehr, you call me Felrose, whatever. You can call me stupid ass. No, hey, stupid. No, you can call me Xehr, you can call me Felrose, whatever floats off the tongue easier for you, bro.
In other words, just, you know, if you guys check out one of our streams tomorrow, I'm also going to be streaming probably at about noon. Well,
awesome.
Let's just say 2 o'clock Eastern.
Yeah, I'll probably be streaming like 14 hours from now. Also, what's up, Dirt Below? We're hanging out with Red here, who's going to be giving us a bunch of knowledge and tips on how to get started tomorrow when we start playing Champions. I'm going to be streaming Champions tomorrow, both here on Twitch and on YouTube, and we're going to have a great time. It's going to be a lot of fun. But tonight, what we're going to be doing, just for a couple hours here, hanging out with Red, getting the information, and then we're also going to be moving some stuff around from home, making sure we're ready to go. What's up, Slatcher? Good to see you back here, Trainer. Thank you very much for being here.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's the biggest thing, and obviously there's differences that go along with that, but, you know, the biggest thing in doubles that I've learned over the years is that when you're jumping into a new format, don't focus on what's quote-unquote meta. There is no meta. There is no best of anything because obviously here in just a couple of hours, we're going to be experiencing literally day one.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so trying to over-focus on what's the best and this, you know, there's going to be tons of brand new players. There's going to be tons of people trying to innovate with new megas and all this other stuff going on, learning the move pools and, you know, everything that we have to, you know, this big learning curve that we already have in front of us with champions coming out, trying to stack, you know, trying to master VGC off the rip is just not going to go well for anybody. You're going to overstress yourself.
Absolutely.
So, you know, the biggest thing is, you know, just find a team that just looks fun. And like I said, when we hop onto that Champions Labs website later with that team I sent you, that's a perfect example. It's not you know, according to the data on the website, it's not It's basically a 50-50 style of team. It'll win half of its games and it'll lose half of its games.
But the important thing about that is like you're never going to be able to truly win. I mean, that 50-50 split, that's also in Go, bro. Like that is like you win some, you lose some, but then it's like 40% either way, and then there's like 20% of games where it's like, all right, this is totally neutral. How do I skill gap the person that I'm playing against? It's basically how some of those are going to go. So I can definitely relate to that.
Oh, absolutely, and that's what makes that team perfect for beginners.
Yeah.
And it just really helps you kind of get started. In my opinion, Sun is probably one of the easier weathers to run.
Okay.
It's not quote unquote typically the best, but I'm gonna keep that for later.
Heard?
I don't want to talk much about like what's the best and all that kind of stuff, but because that doesn't exist right now. But what's been good in the past is typically what people go for.
I got you. Okay.
So the basic concepts of doubles is my next note here, and I know when I wrote these down, I had things in mind. And, well,
let me catch up on chat real quick. Get yourself in order. That's all good. All right.
Yeah,
I think I finally got the damn chat to work, bro. Oh man, yeah. I really haven't played a lot of main series. Like as a Go creator and being a dad of 3 and having a very demanding full-time job, I genuinely I didn't hardly have enough time to really play through anything other than just like the main story of the main series. So I also don't have a lot of stuff, Derpalore, but I am really I'm trying to pay attention to what has been good. I'm making sure I'm grabbing like all my megas and stuff like that just to be as ready as possible. And Red, can you see the Twitch chat, by the way?
I sure can.
Okay.
I don't know about Twitch. I'm not on your Twitch, but
okay.
I got the YouTube chat.
Let me see what I can do about getting you this Twitch chat then, because Derpalore, well, I can just read it to you. Wanted to know if you have any good teams planned for Mega Slowbro. It's the Pokemon that they want to use the most.
So Mega Slowbro is not something I've personally explored, but you know what? While you're doing your thing with the chat, I can definitely.
I'm almost done. I think I've almost got it. All right. Dragon D's Gaming, absolutely, dude. Day one, I'm so hyped. Stone, it works on Switch 1 and Switch 2. Cobra, bro, my daughter would love the Rapidash gameplay, dude. That would Rapidash game. She loves Rapidash, dude, so I got to try and figure out a way to make some of that stuff work. I really want to also find ways to make teams work when I get good enough. Yeah, get good, right? That I can grab one of my kids' favorites and be like, all right, you guys can pick one of my teams and play it, and then we're just gonna figure it out, dude. Yeah, dude, I'm a dad of 3. I got my wife sitting literally right behind me, probably see her on the camera, and yeah, it's busy. I don't know if y'all saw the YouTube video I dropped today, dude. That was like, how you guys can kind of start preparing, moving stuff to home, and get ready for it. I saw it. I was trying to be like, let me get a list GIF or something to throw in that transition. And when I saw the SpongeBob, he's like, go to work, go to work, go to work, go to work. I'm like, dude, felt.
Yeah, 100%, man. Yeah. That's all I've been doing today.
Yeah, I had fun. I had fun with ZA Dragon. I had a lot of fun with ZA. It was actually like I usually don't stream games the first time through. I usually play them with my kids so that they can experience it with me. Champions is, being a live service game, is kind of one of those ones that it's going to be a little bit different. But we had a lot of fun with it, though. I'm not gonna lie. Like, as a game, it was a lot of fun. It's not gonna be like one of the best games that we've ever had, especially with like being able to get competitive stuff and do that. But yeah, the DLC did you in. Oh no, dude. Yeah, the donut thing was kind of weird, bro. But like, I got used to it after a while. But that continuous repetitive game loop was just like, anyway.
Okay, so now keep in mind when I tell you guys about this that I'm not really like cooking on this, but this is just kind of a starting point for the gentleman that was requesting a Mega Slowbro team. And I'm going to say this, okay? If you're brand new to VGC, do not worry about trying to do team building right now. Honestly, it is way too much for you right now.
Yeah.
My best advice is find something similar, and believe me, there's going to be a ton of resources. There's going to be a ton of teams on championslabs.xyz.
There's gonna be
available.
nothing but people pumping out teams left, right, and center. I'm sure that they're gonna have tons of them, at least in the first couple of days.
Yes, and we have gotten confirmation that Champions is going to support like some kind of rental code system. Okay, so find yourself a rental code of something that looks like fun, and take it out for a spin on the ranked ladder, see how you do. Obviously, we all got to grind up VP, so you got to have a team right off the bat. So if you don't have access to home or don't have the mons from main series games, and you don't have the VP in order to fully recruit the Pokemon off of the game, or enough quick tickets, etc., if you just can't build a team in game and it's taking way too long, grab a rental code and maybe hop on the singles ladder or something, and just play. It doesn't matter if you win or lose, you get something even for losing from what we've seen. So but let me go ahead and just kind of throw this out here. So Mega Slowbro to me kind of screams, I want to play something kind of...
I think we lost you again, bro. Let him come back.
Okay, I'm sorry about that, guys.
All good, dude.
Actually, give me just a second. Let me change my phone's display settings.
I'm trying to sit here and find my WebSocket setting in the freaking StreamerBot. I had this all set up, and then all of a sudden, I can't find StreamerBot on my entire computer, bro. I'm the one crashing out. I'm the one crashing out over here.
Okay, I'm back.
Man.
Now this shouldn't turn off nearly as often. I could switch over to my computer real quick.
Whatever's going to be comfy for you, bro. Whatever you feel is going to be best for you to deliver the experience. I have also, okay. Derp Lore, I've also been doing, like, I have...
Video.
Oh, no good, dude. No crashing out tonight. No, dude, we're not playing Pokemon Go. We're not crashing, we're not thrashing our heads into dude. I did, okay, trainers, y'all know how my disdain for Wigglytuff because of Pokemon Go, bro. And I did a set on Friday. I did 3 sets, in fact. I had a really sick run. I went 4-1, 4-1 in my 2 sets that I played. And I sat down and I'm like, bro, let me get a 3rd one lock in. I'm doing good with this team. And then I went 0-5 because I literally saw Wigglytuff on my Sableye. The one thing that I did not want it to be on 5 games in a row. And I'm just like, me. I can't. It's like the problem. It's like the same thing with singles, dude. It's the exact same with 3v3 singles. You get a bad matchup and you better find a way to get away from it. And Go is even worse because you don't have 4 moves. You only have 2 with a fast move that generates energy. So like it's just. You don't, like, the game has gotten a lot better about finding you ways or giving you opportunities to, like, try to pivot out of a bad situation, but there's still so much that rides on alignment in that game. It just, I can't, man. That's one of the main reasons that I don't enjoy it when I play it, is just, like, okay, I saved all my protect shields and my resources and everything. I'm going to sweep with this awesome, fun Pokemon, and then my opponent comes in with quite literally the one thing that there's, like, nothing I can do about it. And I'm just like, all right, I guess I just lose then. So I'm sure that happens in VGC as well, but it's just so much more pronounced in Go, though.
Absolutely. It's still Pokemon at the end of the day. You're gonna find a lot of those same experiences. You're gonna stare across an Incineroar about 100 times before you pulling your what little hair you have left out, going, why, oh why did they give that thing fake out? Anyway, let me swap over to my computer really quick.
Yes,
I think that'll be better because it's not gonna time out. So I'm gonna hang up on the phone and I'll call you right in here in just a second.
Okay, no problem, bro. No problem, bro. All right, well, why don't we take some time here then while we're waiting for Red to come back. And I had plans, dude. I was gonna, like, go try and see if I could find some stuff, but I think at this point, I think we're just gonna grab some resources. I owe Red a Arcaldodon for this. I'm gonna grab a metal alloy. You back already?
Can everybody hear me okay?
Oh yeah. Oh
Am I
yeah.
too
Dude.
loud?
You had no, dude. You have a very sultry, deep voice now. It's wonderful.
Oh, okay, awesome. I guess it's the filters on Discord or something. Because I mean, or maybe it's the acoustics, or I'm just sitting up taller this time, I guess. But yeah, let me go over this team really quick while you do whatever it is that you got to do on the game. Because I know he's probably dying on it. Because I already mentioned it. So here's the sauce that I came up with in like 2 minutes. Okay, and this is what experience has brought me. Okay, so we have Mega Slowbro, and for those of you who don't know, he has the shell armor ability when he Mega evolves. That's already known. Okay, so that means critical hits cannot land on him. Now, that's not crazy useful, to be completely honest with you, but he still has a niche because there's going to be plenty of fighting types in the format. He can set up Trick Room, he's bulky, and he has Stab Psychic for those fighting types mainly. Next up we got Sinisha, our little ghosty boy. He's our secondary Trick Room setter. Perfect support Pokemon in this instance. This is going to be our, you'll hear something called a Firewater Grass Core, and that's specifically for, type balances, much like you do in any other format in Pokemon. So we have a Water Psychic type, now we got a Grass Ghost type. And Machagacha, can burn your opponent. You got Hospitality swap-ins for a little bit of healing on your Mega Slowbro. Then you got Trick Room and Protect to throw that on there. Next up, we got our boy that I was just talking about that makes everyone pull their hair out, Incineroar. Definitely need some fake out support in a situation like this where you need to get off your Trick Room. Mm-hmm. What I built here is a hard Trick Room team with a secondary Mega Gimmick I'll get to in a minute. So Incineroar, he intimidates physical attackers, lessens their damage. You can fake out something as long as it's not a ghost type, or has the inner focus ability. You're in good shape. You can probably cost them a turn that way. So yeah, Incineroar is good. So you got Fire, Dark, Grass, Ghost, and Water Psychic. I feel like that is a perfect core. They all cover each other pretty well. Resist with the others don't. So we have the next guy we have here is good old King Gambit, by far my favorite Generation 9 Pokemon. So for him, we're gonna go with the Defiant ability for opposing Intimidate users, and just go ahead and steal a Swords Dance off of their Intimidate. Because your attack raises 2 stages if you have any of your stats lowered.
Okay.
So that's amazing. And this is common VGC kind of stuff. I highly doubt you're going to find a, Supreme Overlord King Gambit out there. I'm sure they exist, but I highly doubt you're going to find it. Defiant's going to be your most common King Gambit. So for him, we got Kowtow Cleave, his signature move. Sucker Punch is a priority. If you're going to hit me, I'm going to hit you first.
Yeah.
Iron Head for stab and good old Protect. Next up is Ursaluna. Unfortunately, this is not very readily available. Don't worry, I got you if you don't have it. So he's going to be a gutsy boy.
Okay.
With the Flame Morph, rocking Fast Aid, Earthquake for that stab.
Hold on. I need to stop you for a second and get over the fact that you just called it Face Aid.
Did I say Face Aid? I meant to say Fast Aid.
I thought it was Facade. Am I cracked, bro? Is that
Tomato, tomato.
Oh man.
Until I hear the narrator say it, I don't know.
I always thought that was just how it was. All right, I'm gonna have to figure out the dual chat thing after I finish and before we get started tomorrow. So I'm gonna stop focusing on that so I can focus on you and everyone else. So, all right, let me just get my focus back up over here. So I'm gonna bring up this. I'm gonna bring up this site now that you've sent me so that I can actually show it off to people. Do you have a way to like bring up the team visually when you are talking about it?
Yes. If you just have to plug them in, and I already sent them to you.
Oh, well, aren't you just efficient then? All right, so you said you sent them to me. Where I just see
I
the
sent that little
champions
trainer
lab.
card to you yesterday.
Okay, all right. So you want me to plug in that team?
Yeah. So
Okay.
yeah, Charizard and Venusaur and all that, like we were talking about. But let me finish this really quick while you do that.
You're fine, dude.
So our last little bit of sauce, okay, and this is just a personal favorite of mine. On a hard Trick Room team like this, you got to go with Mega Aggron, right? Now, keep in mind, you're very weak to the sun in this instance because you have 3 fire weaknesses with Mega Aggron.
Mm-hmm.
But not Mega, you have Stab Rock Slide. You have Stab Heavy Slam, and you're basically the second heaviest Pokemon in the game. So, very good. His ability when he's Mega Evolved is called Filter, and reduces super effective damage by 25%. So, in the sun, you'll basically take normal damage from Charizard.
Okay.
Check that.
No, because Charizard's probably going to slap you upside the head with something if you don't resist it. So.
Well, in Trick Room, you're outspeeding Charizard, so you know, even if you don't Mega, you're spanking that ass. I'm sorry.
Bro just brought out the French cuss. Let's go. All right, team builder. You said. All right, so let me go ahead.
He's slapping them cheeks for good old Zard. With the Stab Rock Slide in Trick Room, Charizard don't have a chance.
My goodness. All right, I'm gonna figure this website out real quick.
Okay.
Like drought.
Yeah, it's pretty simple to use. You know what? Actually, let me load it up here, and I can actually share it to you on Discord.
Oh, there it is. Mega Evolution. Okay, it's got it. Okay, figured it out. We're here. I got it. How long have I had Scarlet and Violet? I've had it for pretty much since it came out. I just haven't played it a bunch though. And then yeah, Akano, I'm over here currently in Scarlet right now. But I'm gonna probably pivot around between that and home as we go here. Switch 2, dude, the Switch 2 update to Pokemon Scarlet and Violet was insane, dude. It actually has me thinking I might want to try and play this game like over again.
Dude, I played like 20 minutes of it on video earlier. I don't know if you saw that.
I did. I caught it on my feed.
But, yeah, it's just the visuals by themselves and the fact that, you know, not the entire landscape is just glitching out as Koraidon's flying. It's like, wow. Why didn't we get this the first time?
All right, so I got the team pulled up now. Hopefully I can see it on the screen.
I don't know if I'm behind. I'm behind on chat.
Oh, got you. I got you. Yeah, if you're watching the actual stream, it might be.
There we go. Oh yes, this right here. So similar to what I just built, the Slowbro dude. Sorry, I didn't catch your username.
Purpalore, in case.
Oh, okay, gotcha. So this team is kind of a throwback for me.
Okay.
Like I said, back in X and Y.
Let's go.
I played a lot of Charizard and Venusaur.
Mm-hmm.
Instead of Ursaluna in that instance, well, obviously Incineroar didn't exist, but I'll get to that. Instead of Ursaluna, I rocked Mega Kangaskhan as a backup man.
Okay.
That was pretty cool. But for this team, this is what we call a Sunroom team.
Mm-hmm.
So you got the Trick Room option. You got, well, you could also call it Sun Wind.
Mm-hmm.
So you got Tailwind, you got Trick Room. You got Charizard and Venusaur for your Rain. You got Incineroar, you know, Parting Shot, Intimidate. You got a lot of stat control with that. You got Encore or Endeavor is a really great option off of Whimsicott.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so I mean, this is just a team that can, you know, in my opinion, it could probably handle quite a bit. If you look at the analysis there, it says excellent. right? Because we have good type coverage. We may have some common weaknesses, but we cover those with our moves. I specifically put Ancient Power on Charizard to counteract other Charizards, any Talonflames that might be running around, because in X and Y they were everywhere.
Okay.
And just anything else that might be weak to rock. And off of that massive special attack stat, it does a lot more than you might think.
Dude, trainers, tell me this doesn't look just like a VGC version of PV Poke, bro.
Yep.
This is cool, dude. I love this. I love this team builder. It's really nice.
Yep. And it, actually, if you go ahead and save it onto the website there, up at the top, you see a save option right there to your, up a little bit more, right above Charizard.
Mm-hmm.
Right above Charizard. Up.
Oh, I click save. It did a thing and then...
Okay, so you have that saved?
I hope
Okay,
so.
So what you'll do is... Yeah, there you go.
Here we go.
So go ahead and hit the little 3 lines up there at the top. Your little hamburger menu up there.
Yeah.
I don't know if I'm behind still or what's going on. Okay, no, I'm
Yeah,
good.
you're here. Why don't we do this? Let me go ahead and...
Yeah, go ahead and go in there. Let's go into the battle bot.
I can share what I'm looking... I just shared my screen to Discord so you can see.
Oh, okay. Let me... minimize that window. Okay, perfect. Alright. Okay, so this is a feature I really like because it'll do like 1,000 simulated battles and kind of give you a rough estimate of how your team will perform. So go ahead and load your team in there and you'll see kind of what I'm talking about with that 50-50 that I mentioned earlier.
Mm-hmm. Got team 1.
Oh, that's a team tester, so that's a little bit different. So go back up a little bit and go over to Battle Engine,
Okay.
and then load in your team. Okay, and then you can scroll down, do 500 or 1,000, and just run the battle sims.
We're going all in, dude. We're doing 1,000 battles. You can't get me to do that, no, sir. Alec in the chat, how you play Pokemon VGC. So, in just 3 and some odd hour, 3 hours and 20 minutes, Pokemon Champions is going to be available on Switch 1 and Switch 2. And the best, I mean, Red is in here giving us some tips on how to learn some of that stuff. And the best thing that you can do for me personally is I'm quite literally in the exact same spot as you are, Alec, trying to figure out what all this stuff is, how to use it, what do I do, what's good. So I made a video over here on YouTube you can check out afterwards if you want, just some quick tips on how to kind of get started. But the other thing that you should do is, if you can, go check out VGC Guide. That's a really awesome written guide that kind of gives you the basics on what all this stuff is, like how to get your Pokemon trained, what the natures mean, what the EVs are, and why they're important, right? So there's a lot of really good information on there. And then from there, just kind of figuring out, honestly, what the resources are also helps. So I'm kind of learning this stuff all at the same time. So stick around. We'll probably learn this stuff together, man.
Absolutely. And to add on to that a little bit, the resources are important to help get you started. Obviously I have the experience team building, which is why I was able to throw this together for you. So resources are important, but trying to focus too hard into team building right off the rip is just going to overwhelm most people.
Yeah. Yeah, that's basically the rule that I've heard and that you've also echoed is basically grab teams that people have already made and try and, instead of trying to build your own and try to be, unique, because like team building in this show 6, team building is incredibly complicated at first until you've kind of learned the rest of things. So I'm taking the approach that Red and many other people in the community have said, to just take a team that someone's made that's already successful, and instead of trying to build your own, just figure out why other ones work. It'll help you kind of understand what the mechanics and the strategy is the team that the team has, and then eventually we'll be able to get good and make our own teams once we kind of get a better understanding of that stuff.
Absolutely. And obviously I'm going to make some content to that effect as well, if you guys don't mind checking that out. I'm very small, I don't get to do this much, but to add on to that a little bit, I actually want to move on to our next subject real quick, and that's just decisions made in battle made simple. And the only advice I can give you guys there is take a look at your team. The one thing you need to know about any team that you just grab off the internet is what is that team's plan, okay? So using this team that we're looking at as an example, this team's plan is to use Sun and Charizard or Ursaluna and Trick Room to beat down our opponent. It's very straightforward and simple. We have supporters in Whimsicott and Incineroar to help us do that plan and not die in the process.
Mm-hmm.
So it's a very straightforward game plan. And my best advice to making those decisions in battles is just to stick to your plan. Don't worry so much about what your opponent is doing, because that's a learning experience for you. You know, if
reading opponents is a thing you're going to get over time once you figure out what they're normally going to do. Go is the same way. Like, after you learn the mechanics and stuff like that, you're basically just figuring out, you know, how do I plan my own strategy. That's actually I coach go PvP myself, and that's one of the things that I'll tell people early on too, is like, just make a plan, stick to the plan, and look at the plan afterwards instead of trying to don't change the plan on the fly, because as soon as you do, that's when everything goes wrong. And also, yeah, Alec, the mobile release date, Dragon already got you in the chat, but June of this year is when they have said that mobile will be out. Dude, I can't wait to rope my entire Go audience into this once mobile drops, because, dude, Go is riddled with bugs and broken. It's a mess, dude.
Absolutely. And hopefully they've worked out, you know, some early bugs in Champions. I mean, the demo looked fantastic.
Dude, I'm not gonna see nearly. Dude, like imagine. Okay, so imagine if you and your opponent are about to have basically the final exchange of the game, and your Pokemon outspeeds theirs. There's like no trick room. There's none of this. There's nothing altering the speed. But just because it can, the game says you have to go second.
Yep.
That's what Go PvP is like, dude. It's like, there's just so many inconsistencies that shouldn't happen, and they've promised us fixes for literally, it's been years at this point. They gave us another like wave of, we're gonna fix the game just a few months ago. And then they gave us one of the most embarrassing things I think I've ever seen in this game. So it was like, at that point, when they still hadn't said anything, there's no communication, there's no way for us to know when are you guys actually gonna fix it. I think I lost the last bit of faith that I had was when that happened. I think that, like, the last bit of faith that I had was just Go Battle League not getting fixed when they basically promised us, after removing ranked play for 3 months, which, you know, okay, fine, nobody's going to want to play the game because there's nothing to play for after you hit that, you know, that rank where you get your rating. But it never happened. And then this whole controversy over the weekend that happened, which, by the way, justice for Firestar, my God, that was an absolute travesty. The other YouTubers have covered it well enough. I'm not going to get super into it, but just know that Firestar deserves that win, and that was an absolutely atrocious way to end the regional, dude. Goodness gracious, man. Anyway, you may proceed, sir.
Alrighty. So I've kind of already touched on this before, but I want to just kind of touch on some quote-unquote archetypes that you can see here on the screen.
Mm-hmm. Also, what's up, Master Zero? Good to see you. Aspeon is my favorite, personally.
That's really what these are on the screen here from Champions Labs. These are archetypes.
These are the archetypes. So these are the different types of teams that you're going to see, like strategies.
Yes. So these are the different strategies. And I just wanted to touch on some really basic ones that I think anyone who's like brand new, just wanting to jump in, like I said earlier, you know, I'm a casual guy at the end of the day because I'm an over-the-road truck driver. I don't have time to go compete. Actually, matter of fact, kind of the opposite of that, I signed up for 2 tournaments for Champions at the end of this month.
Oh, hell yeah, dude, let's go.
I was going to announce this on my channel tomorrow, but
let's go, bro.
I'm excited. You know, I finally get to compete because that's something I can do straight from the cab of my truck.
Yeah, dude.
But, you know, at the end of the day, this is really what people look at. You know, when you talk about a top tier VGC player, This is what they're looking at. And, you know, an experienced player is going to know what Steel Stall is. I don't even know what that is. I've never heard of that.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Aurora Vale, I'm familiar with that. That's your basic snow team. Aurora Vale can't go up without the snow. That's going to be your snow team.
That makes sense. Okay. That's probably, so is that what Mega Frostlass is going to be running, basically?
Yep. So because Mega Frostlass is fast, has Aurora Vale, and puts up the snow, it literally checks A, B, and C.
Okay, gotcha. Derpalore, thank you for stopping by, trainer. We'll see. Hopefully, we'll see you tomorrow when we're streaming Champions. I'm going to be back in about, I would say probably about 13, 14 hours from now. We're going to be right back here on Twitch and YouTube streaming the game live for like 5-6 hours. Basically, as long as I can physically handle it. So hopefully, I'll see all you guys back here tomorrow. All right.
And to you, Dragon DS Gaming, big props to you too, brother. OTR life is rough. And especially if you're trying to stream or do YouTube, it's just trucking's enough of a time suck. And yeah, anyway. So back to the subject at hand, your weathers are going to be your basic strategies. And by basic, I mean very common. Okay. Especially when we jump into the early meta here, you're going to see a lot of sun. That's going to be very common. Rain.
I've seen so many people talking about weather, dude. Weather has been like the one thing.
Throughout the history of VGC, it's literally the main archetypes that have made the top cut, won worlds, won all of that. Sun has had several world championships and nationals tops, etc. Rain has too. So this is why these things are going to be common.
These are the consistent. This is the meta. This is the stuff that maybe isn't. Well, I mean, it might be. So depending on, I guess, how you build it, it could be fun. But like this, so like I'm thinking of meta as like it's not as fun necessarily, but it gets you consistency.
I wouldn't say that necessarily.
Okay.
I have a lot of fun with Sun.
Change my mind, bro, because every time I think of I think of Zoomerl, I think of Metacham because of Go PvP. Go PvP has ruined me, bro.
Okay, well, imagine a world where you can actually win a game with Torkoal of all Pokemon.
Oh yeah, bro, let's go. I'm in. That's it. We're good.
Literally
I'm locking in, bro.
Slowest Pokemon in the game, pretty much.
Yeah.
Or at least in Champions format.
I mean, it's a turtle, for goodness sake.
Is literally going to be the #1 Sun attacker.
Let's go.
In Trick Room.
Okay.
Okay. So let me touch on this after now that we're talking about archetypes. You're also going to see this a lot. TR. Let's talk about speed control. Okay. Speed really does win it all.
Yeah.
And
determines who goes first and who goes second.
Go about it, but the main two that you're going to see a lot is Trick Room and Tailwind. So you're either doubling your speed or slow is best. So it can go either way. And yeah, exactly. The turtle erupts and brings the turkeys. That's true.
Yes.
It's very true. And it always has been true. Since Generation 4. It's always been good. So there's things like that you got to consider if you're going to dive into it head first. What sounds like the most fun? Do I want to donk people with a turtle that literally explodes out of its back? Heck yeah, I do.
That's what I'm talking about, bro.
If you think about it in a fun way like that, it's like, okay, yeah, I could get behind a Sunroom team 100%.
Oh, yeah.
There's just so much to it when it comes to the archetypes and stuff, but this is really the big point is, you got Tailwind to double your speed for your min speed mons, or to make fast mons faster than your opponent. Basically, whoever hits first wins at the end of the day in Pokemon, just in general. I'm sure you could relate in Pokemon Go, it sounds like.
Yeah, there's a lot of things. Bro, tell me, come on. There it is. Okay. I had to make sure I still had a Duraludon because I just saw I know I don't have many, but I'm like there's no freaking way that the only Duraludon I have is a Gigantamax. It's not. We're good.
Okay. I mean, you have the metal alloys, brother. I don't.
Yeah, no, I just bought one off of the. I just bought one. I just was like, dude, you got to be kidding me, because I can't transfer that out back to home.
Yeah, right. I appreciate it. Yeah,
no, of course, dude.
Ready to run.
I'm totally down to get that giraffe, bro. I have not. I have. That was one of the things that I thought it was really funny as a Pokemon concept, but I never went and used it because it's just. it never hit me as something that I thought would like be useful or good. So I just kind of was like, I'll just come back and deal with this later. And then, by the way, yes, I have been absolutely busy with home lately, dude. I am just anything and everything that I have in any of my games, dude. I'm just going in and trying to find it and get it in here, dude.
Wait till y'all see my Pokemon.
Oh no, dude. Red has told me the stories, bro. It has been Red is out here with like you got like several accounts, bro, you said?
Yeah, I do actually. I have 2 Pokemon Home Premium accounts.
That's insane.
One is I've left untouched for Champions for now. But that one's sitting at a whopping like 4,800 Mons.
Oh wow!
And my other one, I've moved everything but Champions Mons out, and I'm left. And I literally grabbed like up to 6 copies of each Mon that I thought would be good.
Okay.
And I have sitting in there like 950 plus.
Oh wow!
Right now.
That's crazy.
So,
that's incredible.
Like over the years, I've gone crazy. Like I told you,
yeah.
Literally 18 shiny Charizards, all competitively trained. I've gone crazy.
You know, in Go we do that too, but it's mostly because TMs are like ridiculously hard to get. So we have to our literal solution to a limited TM roulette problem is just to build multiple things. Like if you haven't played Go, like imagine when you try to use a TM, it's not a move TM, it's just you can get one random move from a pool of moves. And imagine like things that, I mean, in Go, their movesets are a lot less. Like you have things that have anywhere between like 2 to maybe 8 charge moves. But like, especially the ones that have 8 charge moves, like you're sitting there burning your TMs trying to get that one move that you just can't get because it's completely random. It's not even like it cycles, dude. It's just like, it's infuriating. I have gone in no time from like having a couple hundred TMs down. I have like 10 now.
Yeah, that sounds absolutely awful. I literally played the week that Go came out and put it down like, nah.
Yep.
You know, but I mean, at the time, I was busy getting my CDL. So,
absolutely, bro. No, that's 100% the right thing to do, though. Like, you have a life that's a little bit more important, man.
Well, I mean, if I don't do what I do, y'all don't.
40? 240? Oh! Bro, I'm in pain just reading that.
140 what?
100. They use, so in Mew, in Pokemon Go, Mew specifically, as you know, it can learn pretty much literally every move. So in Go, they gave it a ridiculously large move pool of like 20 fast moves and 20 something charge moves. And imagine having to do that on the TM roulette where you just get a random move from its pool.
That's crazy.
It's obscene, dude. Mew back in the day, like, and I mean, I'm talking like 3-4 years ago when Mew was like occasionally a good core breaking kind of pick in Go Battle League, and you would have somebody like if you had somebody with a Mew, you knew what they had to do to get that thing built, man.
Oh man. Yeah, I think I made the right choice.
Oh, I definitely, I have a love for Go. I do, I genuinely do, because, dude, Go has been an era of my life. I won't forget it, and I love the community that I got to meet because of it, and all the people that have followed me on this channel. But that game has got, like, if the game on its own is just, it's a steaming pile of dong, man. Like, I'm sorry, but, like, every decision that they made into the PvP side of things and resources and things, it's just, all of it was not made with the player in mind. I'm sorry. If any of you guys disagree with me, let me know, because, like, I am very much, like, I love the game because of the people, not because of the game. That's the short way to put it.
I played the TCG for years, and that's why I kept coming back to it.
Yeah.
You know, things would happen in my life where I'd just get bored, because honestly, it was a little bit too easy. So,
McLean, what's up, baby? Welcome in.
And, you know, every time I came back because the community is so welcoming.
Yeah.
And, you know, it honestly, the TCG physically used to be cheaper than any other card game out there.
Yeah, I mean, honestly,
So
it still is.
cheap. I could sit down across from somebody. I already know what I'm doing.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I saw a decent degree of success. But, again, then I got my CDL. So all that kind of came to a screeching halt.
Mm-hmm.
Unfortunately, the last tournament I participated in was back in 2022 at the Salt Lake City Regionals.
Mm-hmm.
Did not have a very good day with Palkia that day.
Oh no! I was into TCG for just a little.
Too, man. I was single at the time, and
yeah, I was into TCG for a little while.
And everything.
I had a buddy get me into it, and I was just like, I was playing on TCG Live, and I was just trying stuff out, and I was I was super into it during the Origin Palkia Greninja format, right before Lost Origin came out.
Yep, that's exactly when I left, because after that regional, I just said, you know what?
It's not worth it.
It's not worth it anymore.
No.
At the time, I was, a lease operator trying to pay taxes and stuff.
Yeah, dude. Yeah.
For my expense. I mean, I had plenty of money. Don't get me wrong.
Right.
I was making bank, but I spent my whole vacation going to Salt Lake City regionals, and it was a blast. The people are wonderful.
Yeah.
Matter of fact, I still have a legacy Charizard deck
Uh-huh.
sitting around here somewhere.
Oh, nice,
that I picked
dude.
up over there.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
Also, what's up, Dragon Ice guys? Good to see you too, man. I am very excited for what is potentially coming. And even if I'm not competitively the best, I've already made it very clear in the first video, and I'll make it continuously clear that I'm not a competitive elite player that knows things. I'm here to learn. And I'm really excited to be able to make a content journey and show everybody that hey, even if you're not you're not top in regionals and stuff, but it doesn't mean you can't enjoy the game and be good and try to get good. I'm quite literally at the point right now where I have to let all of the Pokemon Go knowledge that is sitting in my head somehow find its way to get replaced with this stuff. So, and if everything goes to dog water and doesn't work out very well, if they fix Go, I will consider dropping back in. And even if this goes well, if they fix Go, I will absolutely dedicate some time to seeing how the fixed version actually runs, because I owe it that much after all the shit I give them. All right, so we've talked about this team. We've talked about archetypes.
Yes.
So what I really need you to inform me, and I don't care how long we spend on this particular topic, and I think that this might be one of the biggest topics for everybody in here, is how in the hell am I supposed to figure out how to play doubles, and how am I supposed to figure out the strategies? And I get that the teams themselves have their own synergies and strategies. I get that, but how do you take that and mold it into the doubles format, and how do you figure that out?
Well, honestly, coming from your perspective, it might be like I told you, it's going to be a massive leap, because you're used to 1v1 in a completely different type of battle, right?
Yeah.
So think of when you go through the game, you play single battles for the most part, right?
Yep.
So it's that, but with two Pokemon on the field.
Makes sense.
Okay. Let me give you an example. So you got Charizard and Venusaur. I'm going to stick to that example for this. And what does that do for them? Okay, so Charizard, let's look at his weaknesses. He's weak to electric. He's 4 times weak to rock. He's weak to water.
Right.
And I believe that's it.
Okay.
So you take all of that, then you look at Venusaur's resistances. Okay, he literally resists everything that Charizard's weak to. And he deals super effective to water and rock.
Okay.
So those two are naturally best buddies.
Makes sense.
On top of that, Venusaur also has the poison typing. So he can deal with, other things that Charizard just can't, like fairies. I mean,
yeah, water, rock, that makes a lot of sense. And Go has severely distorted my view of matchups, because I don't know. I know that this whole movesets make everything so much different, but for the life of me, dude, I would never have expected like the way that things are cored in Go is just so like Charizard and Venusaur make a good core, but they're not a great core, if that makes sense. And it's mostly just because of the things that are in the meta. Venusaur is a very win hard, lose hard sort of Pokemon in this meta. So how does it feel in doubles by comparison?
So, I mean, in terms of type matchups, it's going to change every game, just like it doesn't Go. But the one static thing that you have, is the resistances aren't mushed down like they are in Go. They're not. They're consistent.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? So you can look at Cerebi, you can look at Showdown, you can look at Champion Labs.
Mm-hmm.
You can look at all these resources to find your resistances,
Mm-hmm.
and that's the biggest learning curve in VGC is
Mm-hmm.
you have to memorize that kind of stuff. Like, okay, if an Electro Shot goes into Charizard
Mm-hmm.
from Archaludon because he's on the field,
Mm-hmm.
Chances are he's going to die.
Yeah, yeah.
Super effective.
Get knocked out, bro.
Champion kind of does that for you. Okay, Champion does that for you by using the phrases "not very effective," "it's effective,"
Yeah.
"super effective," or "it's extremely effective."
Yeah. I saw that they added that
for you. You don't have to worry about memorizing the type matchups like a crazy person like me has for years.
Bro, the type matchups chart lives in my head rent free. It's never going away. I will be in my 80s, bro, and I'll be able to tell you exactly what kind of damage interactions there are. I will remember that for the rest of my life, dude.
Exactly, man.
Also, let's go. McLean, congratulations on veteran, bro. I can't wait to see the games. Yeah. Let's go.
And Zero brings up a good point. You know, you also got to consider, and this is where things get complex. Okay,
Mm-hmm.
This is where the EVs come into play, and the IVs, or formerly the IVs, more or less.
Mm-hmm.
This is where your stats come into play. Okay, so when you start talking about damage, to answer your question, how does it feel versus Go? I mean, your core is covering each other's weaknesses,
mm-hmm.
and as long as they support each other well, then your weaknesses are kind of a non-bow, if that makes any sense. So
sure.
To give an example kind of that, you're facing down a Tyranitar and let's go with an easy one, Tyranitar and Incineroar.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so one threatens Charizard but is weak to Venusaur, and the other, well, okay, no, better example. Let's go with Tyranitar and let me think.
Let me throw you a couple of cores from Go and see if you can make the analogy out of it, because I think that might be helpful. So,
okay.
Two of the best cores currently in the format of Go is Corviknight and a mud boy like Swampert. Okay, so let's grab those first. And then another really strong core, oh god, do I dare say it, Wigglytuff and Fortress. They cover each other in Go very well. Obviously they have weaknesses, but I don't think that's probably not a great one to use in this case. So let's stick with this.
Why don't you go ahead and throw it into Champion Labs and we can actually look at it right there.
Oh, he says let's get it in the lab right now. We're gonna cook something up in the lab.
Let's go ahead and cook it up. You know, let's see what Pokemon Go meta compares to VGC.
Okay.
Let's cook it up so that we can put this, like I told you, people process information if it's relatable. So if you've only been playing Go, this might help you.
Okay, I'm in, bro. All right. So what do we do? We throw some stuff in here.
So you throw the core that's doing well as close as you can, based on the available mon list, of course.
Okay.
Into the team, and then we look at their coverage and their resistances.
Oh my god, do they have any ground water types in here?
I don't. Did Swampert make it in?
I didn't see it. Hasn't been confirmed yet.
I thought all three of the Hoenn started.
I don't think so. I have no. If they're not, at least they're not in Champions Lab. Okay, let's see. Can we do one of these? No, that doesn't work like that.
Well, we could just throw a Blastoise in there to
Seismitoad isn't even in. All right, Blastoise. You said. All right.
Yeah, just go ahead and throw them in there.
Okay. Okay. So then Go players in my chat. Throw me a really good core in the game right now. What do we got? Fortress Jellicent makes sense to me. That's another really strong one. Or Licky Jellicent. I don't even know if these are going to be in here, though. There's probably not going to be a lot. Yeah, they're not even in here, bro. All right. What do we got? What do we got?
Okay.
Oh, Altaria. Is Empoleon in here? Hold on a minute. Is Empoleon in here? Oh, okay. Altaria and Empoleon is a great.
Okay, both of those are in the game. Let's go ahead and use that.
Okay.
Go ahead and use that.
Okay. So what do we do with this then? Oh, can you not have the same? Can you not have two of the same items on a team?
No.
Okay. Good to know.
No, no, the game won't let you do that.
Okay.
Yeah, go ahead and get rid of Blastoise.
Get rid of Blastoise. Okay. Well, Blastoise doesn't need to be here.
Yeah,
it's Corviknight that's got the citrus berry, so.
The items doesn't matter. We're just looking at the typing and resistances right now.
Okay. All right. Are there any? Oh my goodness, ground. How about literally any ground type would probably be fine.
Okay, let's just go ahead and throw Garchomp. Go ahead and throw him in there.
Oh, this is a man after my own heart right here, dude. He says throw Garchomp in there. I'll throw Garchomp anywhere.
Garchomp is probably like number 2 or 3 in all of VGC, like the most used mon.
Makes sense. Garchomp also probably would go well decently with Empoleon too. Empoleon loves dragons because of its steel typing.
It does. It doesn't like to get earthquaked though.
No, that's why Altaria works with it so well.
We'll get to that. But what we're looking at here is a Pokemon Go core. I'm assuming Garchomp's in the game, right?
Yeah, it is. It's just not very much. It's not very used.
Okay, well, it is in VGC, and the reason being is because it has a very strong offensive typing.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it has a very wide move pool, so there's a lot of options there.
Mm-hmm.
The most common sets are going to be either Life Orb, Choice Scarf, and we'll get to that, and stuff like that. So let's just go ahead and scroll down just a little bit, and you'll see a set of type coverage and resistances.
Okay, awesome. This reminds me of the Maryland team builder that I used way back in the day, bro.
Yeah, absolutely.
Okay.
Let me pull up the...
Here it is. No Intimidate. Oh, I like that it highlights that you have ways to deal with archetypes, too. That's really cool.
Yes. This is why I highly recommend this as, like, your go-to thing, because it's already set up for champions.
Bro, this is incredible! Oh, yes! Okay.
Yeah. So, let's go ahead and take a look at the type coverage. This is what we're trying to get at here.
Yo, was anybody... Dude, I need somebody to remind me that this wasn't a fever dream. Was anybody in the Maryland forums, bro? Because that was another era of my life. I need to know that somebody was in there. Randy, what's up? Good to see you, dude. Welcome back. All right, so we got the type coverages pulled up.
You have your defensive weaknesses and your resistances and immunities. And this is where it really comes down to brass tacks.
Okay.
Okay. Now, this is everything. Now, unfortunately, Champions Labs, in my opinion, isn't updated to include your move coverage.
Uh-huh.
So don't take this with a grain of salt. It's only counting the type of the Pokemon on your team.
Okay.
Because, like, the team I showed you earlier has type coverage for its weaknesses, but it'll tell you, hey, you're weak to rock, electric, and water. It's like,
okay.
No, I'm not. I'm definitely not.
Yeah, but I think that's still good to highlight because, like, okay, maybe you have 3 things that are weak to electric, for example, but if you've got, one ground type and then you've got, a couple of different things that have resistances to electric or have coverage for it, that's still, you can... I used to do the same thing when I was building my old singles teams on the Maryland team builder back in the day, where I would be like, okay, well, I have 2 answers to every type in some form or another.
Exactly. And you'll do the exact same thing in doubles if you want to run like a really aggressive team.
Mm-hmm.
But most of the time you want a game plan to go along with it because having coverage for everything isn't always enough.
It should be. I figure your strategy is probably first, and then you like build around maybe like 1, maybe 2 Pokemon in that strategy, and then try to fill out the team with coverages and other like. So from what I've understood so far. Okay, and this is maybe what I'm trying to take away from a team building perspective, is start with a concept, not a, like, Start with
Not
the
a
concept of
particular
your
Pokemon.
strategy, and then pick something to commandeer that strategy with. And then you would, at that point, start building, like, find a good core mate that goes with that particular thing. Then it sounds like you maybe want to find a secondary strategy to fall back on if the first one doesn't go off the way you want it to. And then you maybe build a core with that strategy in mind, and then you fill up the last 2 spots with some sort of support or some sort of way to shore up the weaknesses. Is that am I on the right track here?
You are absolutely right on the money, brother.
Bro, I got there. Let's go. And we're not even 2 hours in. We got 45 minutes left. What else can I absorb from this, man? Let's go.
Well, I mean, once you figure out what you want to do with a particular mon, like, you know, many of the new megas, let's take an outlier like Mega Scrafty.
Okay.
Okay. So Mega Scrafty, we don't know his ability yet, so let's just put that aside for now. But Scrafty comes built in with Intimidate, Parting Shot, Fake Out, Close Combat. You have stabs against a lot of really big threats. He also has access to Sucker Punch. So
this sounds very disruptive.
Yes, he's very disruptive, and he can pivot out and do a lot of things. And then Mega Evolving will just
What's up, Turf?
bolster his stats even further, hopefully in a positive way. I haven't particularly looked at him, but that's just one example of you can take an outlier and say, okay, what supports Scrafty? What are his weaknesses? Well, he's 4 times weak to Fairy. Okay, who am I going to pair him with to deal with Fairy Pokemon that he doesn't? Just like you would in singles, right? So to deal with Fairy Pokemon, me personally, I'm going to throw a Fairy in front of it. I'm going to throw Primarina in front of it.
Oh, God.
Because Primarina has Ice Beam. I can deal with flying threats. Primarina has...
I need you to erase this horrible image of Primarina from my mind and replace it with a good one that actually makes me feel like I want to use this Pokemon, because that is the master for us in Go. That is the Master League equivalent to Wigglytuff. It is just quite literally there to shut down anybody attempting to have fun.
Exactly. But, you know, it's...
He says exactly. It's not different. Wait, huh? No, stop. We need to stop on Primarina for a minute. I need you to tell me the truth, man. Is this a Pokemon that exists to stop me from having fun?
No.
Okay.
No, I mean, honestly, its kit is pretty supportive. The one thing you're going to see it do a lot in Champions, seemingly, is Haze. It's going to stop setup mons like Dondozo and Tatsugiri.
I've heard about Haze. Okay. That Haze eliminates the stat changes, right?
Correct.
Okay.
It completely, level playing field. If anything, it's going to be annoying if you're using a setup strategy.
What's up, Gabbo? Good to see you, trainer.
Tomato there, you know what I mean? It's 2 sides to every coin. You know, one person's going to be annoyed, the other person's going to be like, ha, sucker.
Ha! Haze seems to exist to stop people from overextending their setups. It's just like, you are not dragon dancing more than twice. I am going to give you a Haze straight to the face, trainer. Have fun setting that back up. Good Dozo check. I have a Bozo Dozo that I just transferred over to home, so I'm ready.
There you go. I mean, but here's the thing: is moves like that, from what I've seen so far, from available resources, including Champions Labs, is very few mons get Haze. Right. Okay. So that's what brings them into relevance. It's like, oh hey, I
see.
I can resist everything Dondozo wants to do with one Pokemon, and that's Primarina.
Okay.
Right. But at the same time, I'm also resisting any Fairy stabs, flying stabs, fighting types that want to hit my Mega Scrafty. Does that make any sense? This is where doubles comes into play, because you got one mon that can either switch in or be there to support.
Okay, so you're telling me that so walk me back and let me hear you say it one more time.
Okay,
give me like a Reader's Digest version up until where we're at right now, because we got Mega Scrafty, it's very disruptive, and then I went on a whole spiel of enlightenment of figuring things out, and then we came back and talked about Primarina. I got triggered, and now at this point I'm kind of lost. So let me.
Okay, fair enough. That's fair enough. So, in this example, you have Mega Scrafty, and the reason I selected Primarina as one of its teammates is because of 2 things. Scrafty has a lot of weaknesses and not very good bulk. By bulk, I mean defenses.
Mhm.
So because of that, when I'm team building, I'm going to say, okay, Scrafty can pivot. What do I want to pivot out to? Obviously, Scrafty doesn't want to take a Moonblast. It doesn't want to take any kind of flying type move or fighting type move. And I don't remember if it resists bug or not because of its dark typing.
No, it's neutral because fighting resists it, but the dark type takes super effective.
That's fair.
See, I told you, bro. I got this shit unlocked, dude.
I never worried too much about the resistances. I understand the gist of it. I just can't remember the little details like that. But so Primarina has a nice kit to deal with literally everything Scrafty doesn't want to deal with.
Okay.
So it's synergies like that you want to find in doubles when you're team building.
Venusaur seems like a problem, though, no? For those?
I'm sorry?
Venusaur seemed like it might be a problem for those, though, no?
So then you move on to the next step, and this is what we call a core, right?
Okay, yeah.
Talk about a lot. You got the Fire, Water, Grass core, and then what we call the Fantasy core, Steel, Fairy, Dragon.
Well, we have a cup and go right now that's called Fantasy Cup that's quite literally those exact same types. That's pretty cool. Okay. Yeah, I love how you guys call it Fantasy Core. That's actually kind of cool.
Run out of ideas, and they steal ideas from the competitive. So, so in this instance, you have Scrafty. He's your Intimidator.
Yeah.
You have Primarina, so you already have your Water and Fairy coverage, right? So you don't need another Fairy type, right? So to fill out the rest of these slots, if I'm team building like this, I might use another pivot user, or for me, being as we're building a team based on outliers that nobody's going to see coming, go ahead and throw Raichu on there.
Oh, I love the Raichu. I've seen some people talking about Raichu. I really have.
Okay. What does Primarina not want to deal with? It doesn't want to deal with electric type moves, and Electroshock from Archaludon is going to be everywhere.
Okay.
Okay.
I could also see it not liking grass, poison. With this move set, looks like steel would be a problem for it.
Right, but Scrafty gives you the coverage for steel.
Okay.
You see how that works?
Ah, okay. So
fighting moves for your steel types.
Okay.
Primarina covers for him. He covers for her. Because he also has a really vast move pool. You can specifically put like Fire Punch on him. To cover for her grass weakness if you really wanted to.
So it's not okay. So here's the thing, and let me kind of explain to you where the thought process is with Go and cores, right? So the cores really end up emanating more towards the typings and less so of the move sets. The move sets offer a little bit of flexibility, but for example, like the entire reason why the Corviknight Mudboy core is so good is because of the weaknesses that Corviknight has, just literally fire and electric, Mudboys are going to be able to take care of those. And then you have the only weakness to the water ground that is grass, and Corviknight, Skarmory as well, are some of the strongest typing responses to those. But what you're telling me is that we have to not only look at the typings of a Mon, but also we're okay with it if it's got a move that covers the type that it doesn't really care for, as long as maybe it offers a resistance to that typing.
Yeah. And, you always have the option to swap out if it's that unfavorable and unfavorable for you. To give an example of that is Charizard versus Tyranitar.
God and go, you would be gone so quick, dude. We are smashing the ever-loving hell out of that pivot button with no mercy, bro.
Yep. So I mean, when you're team building, you're not really thinking about, what your opponent's doing, right? Like I said earlier, is when you find a constant. This is a little bit more advanced. This is not what I recommend for someone just jumping in. But if you have a little bit of experience, then why not? Right? So I saw someone in the chat told you add Metagross. Okay, I can agree with that, and here's why. Metagross, in this particular instance, is just a monster. He just comes in and he hits like a semi-truck. There's no other way around it. Can you see if if Scrafty's on there on champion.
I did. It's not. It's not. I tried to add it. That's why I was trying to like see if it was in there, and it was not.
Oh, okay. Well,
Yeah.
that's okay. It was just an example because it's an outlier mega that you're not going to see that very often unless Incineroar gets nerfed even more.
Mm-hmm.
We already know it doesn't get knockoff from the PAX demo.
Mm-hmm.
So if it gets nerfed anymore, it's not the greatest option in the world anymore.
Yeah.
So you don't have to run double fire types on your Sun team anymore. But I digress. So if we look at this core, you got Primarina. Let's say we're building around Mega Metagross.
Sure.
Well, Mega Metagross doesn't want to see dark types. It doesn't want to see earthquakes or ground type moves.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't want to see fire types, and it doesn't want to see. You know what? Let me. I don't know. My internet keeps blocking Champions Labs for some reason on my computer. So
That's annoying.
let me pull it up on my phone now that we're.
Shift F5 sometimes helps me.
No, it's just Xfinity being dumb.
Hey,
Have
has
it.
my alerts not been going up? I just realized this whole time I don't think my alerts.
Okay, so let me get caught up here. We got Prim. We got Mega Metagross. Oopsie. Team Builder. Clear the team. So we have Primarina.
Oh, Fee baby, what's up? Welcome in. Good to see you.
We're building around Mega Metagross. I just need to look like I can't remember off the top of my head. Exactly what. I can tell you that he's the heaviest mon in the game as a Mega,
Mm-hmm.
and those heavy slams, even a neutral hit,
They'd
is
be
gonna
hitting.
do damage.
Yeah.
Yeah, off of his Mega stats, and yeah, it's pretty absurd. But anyway, so building off of this core, if we look down at the resistances and type coverage again, you see we have 2 weaknesses to ground, 1 weakness to ghost, 1 weakness to grass, that's covered, 1 weakness to electric, that's covered, 1 weakness to fire, that's covered, and 1 weakness to poison, that's covered, and then 1 weakness to dark, which is also covered. So if we really look at that, what are we weak to? Nothing. Right?
I mean,
So
I would say
that's
that
really
I would say
where-
that ground is probably at least. So, sorry, I was totally distracted. I'm going to be honest, and that's disrespectful of me to do so.
Oh no, you're okay.
The ground and the ground type weaknesses. Okay, so you said we were. So, did you need me to add anything other than Raichu, Metagross, and Primarina to this team?
No, not yet.
Okay.
Not yet.
Okay.
So that's kind of like I guess this is what we're doing. That's okay.
Mega Tough Claws. Is that what we want here?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. So you want Mega Metagross. That's his Mega ability, his Tough Claws. So anything he has that's making contact is doing more damage.
Ah. Okay. Makes
So
sense.
That's the other thing too. His abilities play a huge role.
Yes, that I had figured on. That was another thing that I know that it's going to come probably with experience, is me trying to like remember what all the abilities are, who has what, and what do they do.
Exactly. So to give an example, when he's not Mega Evolved, Metagross has Clear Body, so Intimidate
Yes.
does nothing.
Okay.
Parting Shot does nothing because his stats cannot be lowered.
Mm-hmm.
So it just does nothing.
Okay.
They can't target that slot, and you can use that, knowing that, to your advantage defensively.
Mm-hmm.
You know, if you have a physical attacker and your opponent's about ready to send out an Incineroar, to give an example, you can pivot out your attacker into Metagross, not Mega Evolved, and block that Intimidate.
Yeah, because if you're calling that they're going to try to bring that in, and you can counter that. If you call that play, that's a huge way to just completely deny that entire turn for that Incineroar.
Exactly.
Okay.
And, you know, Incineroar is usually a lead, in my personal experience. It's very common as a lead because it can pivot out with Parting Shot. So you know it's going to be a threat in the back to come out and Intimidate, try to drop your stats even lower. So, I mean, Metagross is amazing.
Okay.
It's one of the better bonds, obviously.
I would believe it. I mean, I think that's for it where every game that it's in, I feel like Metagross just kind of is one of those, like, it's almost like pseudo-legendary tier of good, usually.
Absolutely. So, I mean, if we really look at what we're weak to right now is ground. So the one thing I know that we don't want to do is add another ground weakness to the team.
Okay.
Right. So, well, if we do, then we need to make sure that we have another resistance to it.
Okay, so Gyarados is listed as the top thing. Tell me why I should or should not just add Gyarados to this team. And after we do this, I want to touch back on the whole strategy stuff for doubles, because we're getting close to a half hour left, and I want to make sure that that was one of the things that we focused on for a little while. Because I know we've talked about don't worry so much about team building, and I'm learning a lot about team building, and that's freaking awesome. But I want to be able to see if we can, like, I feel like I've got almost enough to go and screw around with this in my spare time and try to figure out, okay, well, what covers what makes sense here. So let's finish building out this team, and then we'll talk about doubles strategies and like getting used to playing the format and your thought processes and how they're going to change from playing something like single.
Okay, so I think the reason why it's trying to tell you to put Gyarados on there is because it's recognizing that you don't have Intimidate.
Okay, that makes
and
sense.
Gyarados has access to that.
Okay.
As
does Incineroar, and I think Arcanine does as well, doesn't it?
Yes.
Okay.
Arcanine does as well, but regular Arcanine's not so great.
Mm-hmm.
And Hisuian Arcanine would add a 4x weakness to ground on top of what we already have.
Right.
So
not a good ad here.
Not ideal. Having an immunity to ground.
Yeah, so a flyer. Yeah, I had I think it was Dragon Knight in the chat had mentioned you should add 2 flying types. Or no, sorry, Dragon DS Gaming had said add 2 flying types. The only 2 flying types I see here is Gyarados and Gliscor. So does Gyarados like make sense, or is it one of those things that's just here because it happens to fill that role?
Intimidate. Gyarados carries Intimidate. It carries Ice Fang with it. So you actually have a way to super effectively hit
so what you're telling me is so what you're telling me here is that Gyarados as a Mon is competitively viable aside from just being an Intimidate user.
Absolutely. No, he has a vast move pool.
Mm-hmm.
You can use him as a setup Mon.
Mm-hmm.
You can do Dragon Dance.
Ooh.
He has access to Earthquake himself.
Mm-hmm.
He has access to Thunder Wave for speed control. Because in VGC, Thunder Wave, when you're paralyzed, halves your speed.
Yes. Also, Akano, yes, you can. Basically, if you take anything from Go and send it to home, you can build it up in Champions. If you don't have like a Switch game or something to put the resources into, you could literally just transfer it straight to home and then let it visit Champions, and then you can do the building there with the resources. Like, you can send one without Meteor Mash, and if it can learn Meteor Mash in the Champions format, then you just teach it Meteor Mash there.
Yep, exactly.
That's one of the things that I made sure I touched on in that video today, because I feel like that's such a like underspoken point of like everybody's saying, I got to build all this stuff in Scarlet before I send it to Champions, where the reality is like, yeah, we're going to have to spend some resources to do it, but we're not going to have a problem with being able to send stuff. It's all going to be buildable. And honestly, that's what free-to-play games end up being, is they're quite literally just a, like, give you some good stuff at the beginning, and then after you've used it up, it's a resource grind, and we're all going to be sitting here playing our 5 or 6 battles to finish our daily missions or whatever to be able to build the next thing. So, yeah, that is going to be the game loop that we're probably going to end up in.
Point to add on to that.
Sure.
And I think this is the perfect opportunity to mention it.
Okay.
So, when we're talking about Pokemon Champions and transferring from Pokemon Home, nothing has been officially confirmed.
Right. Also, yes, Randy, we're going to be streaming it tomorrow morning. I'm gonna stream it probably about 12, 13 hours from now. We're going to start streaming it for like half the day, dude. All right, go ahead.
So, when we talk about this, there's only 2 things that make sense. Okay. The reason they're allowing Pokemon Home from day one is because they want it to be accessible to players who played their games.
Yep.
And the reason they have the recruiting is to welcome new players. But they know that VP is going to be a grind. And how can you grind VP without a team? Right?
Spend money.
And what use is transferring from Pokemon Home if I have to dump 2,500 plus VP into a Mon before I can even put it into battle? You know, we don't even know if we start with any VP.
Right.
You know, if they give us a little gift of 3,000 VP or whatever it might be. We don't know.
Mm-hmm.
So I wanted to add this interesting point. This is my prediction. Okay, they're gonna do either one of two things. They're either gonna give us training tickets equal to the number of mons that you transfer from home, so you get a one-time chance to edit it without using VP.
Okay.
Or they'll just have that be an auto prompt. And the reason I think that that's going to be the case is because literally nothing else makes sense.
True.
Literally nothing else makes sense.
I mean, I would have expected them to just be like, here, sucker, you got something from home. You don't have to worry about catching it somewhere or recruiting it. Now go ahead and build it with the resources that we're giving you sparingly.
Exactly. And let's look at the benefits of what I'm talking about here. So now I can literally, you know, let's say I'm a newbie. I go out and I buy a used Switch 1 because it's cheaper, and a copy of Scarlet or Violet or any other Pokemon game on the Switch. I can literally take my in-game team, transfer it into home, transfer it into Champions. You know, then I'll have to spend my VP.
Yeah.
But conversely speaking, if I EV train them in the game, I just transfer them into Champions, hop in, earn the VP to recruit more mons to add to my roster, etc. So I think it'd be a really big mistake if they didn't do something about, you know, something to the line of what I'm talking about giving us a free edit, because you got Pokemon coming in from Arceus, ZA, Go. None of those games included abilities. Am I correct? I didn't play.
Yeah, no, there are no abilities. They totally missed the mark on that kind of thing. Yeah, there's no abilities.
Yeah, so it doesn't make any sense. Transfer a mon in from home and have it have absolutely no ability. You can't go into battle with that. Because everything else on the field is going to have an ability. Like,
right.
From a design perspective, that literally makes no sense. You know,
yeah, that's what I'm doing, Akano. I'm basically taking as much stuff from my main series games, my side game, like Legends games, and I'm taking everything that I can from Go that looks like it might be competitively viable or just might be fun to play, and I'm just sending it to home, and I'm expecting that no matter what the process is for building it, I know that it can be built in Champions. I'm just like, dude, I don't have the resources to go like send it to Scarlet and train it there, so I'm just going to use whatever they give us in Champions and just end up taking what I can there.
Absolutely. It's still a coin toss, you know, but I really do believe that they're going to give us something along those lines.
Oh, and IVs were completely removed in Champions. Like, every IV has been just by default maxed out. So it doesn't matter if you have a hundo or have a really just meh IV, it's a shiny, whatever. None of that's, the IVs aren't going to matter. So don't worry about those if you guys are sending them over.
It doesn't matter. They haven't been removed. They're just by default maxed out. And the EVs are now called stat points. And the thing about that is it's literally just a 1-for-1 at level 50. If you really do the math, 4 EVs equal 1 stat point at level 100.
I got it to work. The alerts are in, dude. We're so in. Hypnosion, thank you for
Yeah.
subscribing.
So I mean,
Okay.
that's really the implications of that. But
Okay. So anyway, back to what we were doing, right? So you were making that point about I think that's a really good point. Like, there has to be some way to convince people to like keep using home, because it's going to make them money too. Okay, so while you were talking, I ended up going and adding Talonflame, and then Archaludon was the top like thing to add, and it feels like we're still really weak to ground, but we also have 2 dominantly strong answers to ground and a Primarina that has Ice Beam, and I guess that's kind of helpful. So tell me what you think about this team, and then we'll move into the double stuff.
This is what I'm gonna see. So you have a Tailwind Sitter and Talonflame. Okay, this is the thing about Talonflame. He was great back in X and Y, but then they nerfed Gale Wings.
Okay, what does Gale Wings do? Because I saw it, but I didn't see like...
Gale Wings is his ability. It's his hidden ability, and it gives flying moves priority. And to briefly explain what that is, basically...
Oh, I see.
The moves, you know, even despite the speed of the mons on the battlefield, they get priority, you know, so they get to go first unless something with a higher priority is clicked. So, for example, Gale Wings with Tailwind is the most common thing you'll see. to double the speed of your mons, versus extreme speed. So extreme speed has, in terms of damaging moves, has the highest priority. So extreme speed will always hit that Talonflame first, and because Gale Wings now relies on him being at full HP to give that Tailwind priority.
Sucker Punch is a conditional priority move, but
exactly, it's a conditional priority ability for a certain type of move. So you can have priority Brave Birds, but there's recoil with that.
Oh, they were asking about Sucker Punch as a conditional.
Yeah, so Sucker Punch is a priority move. That is absolutely correct. Akanome, sorry.
You're good. You're good.
That's a priority move, but Sucker Punch can fail if your opponent clicks a status move. And that's super relevant in doubles, especially because you're not just one-on-one where you're predicting them to go for an attack, and 9 times out of 10 they will. In doubles, you have a lot of support everywhere. Like supposedly you can put Tailwind on a Charizard. A mon that has this massive attack stat can hold Tailwind. So you click Sucker Punch, and I say, okay, I'm gonna click Tailwind this turn, predicting that you're gonna Sucker Punch me. So your Sucker Punch fails, I double the speed of my team, and I'm already fast. Next thing you know, your Sucker Punch pretty much, it's a resisted hit, or a neutral hit, so it's not going to do what you thought it would do, and you get one shot in return.
Okay, so I went in, and just because I was curious, because Gliscor kept showing up as something that was like super top, and I also thought that the whole sand thing might be interesting because we've got Metagross and Archaludon in here that kind of don't really care about it. So
Archaludon is an interesting one. I would not run Electro Shot on it. It's extremely inaccurate except for in the rain. Archaludon is a mon.
Okay, gotcha. Yo, Timo, what's up? Good to see you, trainer.
Okay, so
pick up Whimsicott if you don't want Talonflame.
Yeah, we can definitely play to that strength.
Okay.
The reason we selected Raichu is because we wanted something to redirect electric attacks. And now that we have Gyarados, it's even more important.
Yeah, because it has Lightning Rod, I think, right?
So Raichu and Gyarados would be a perfect lead. Because Gyarados has the Ice Fang for ground types, and Raichu can just absorb any electric attacks coming at Gyarados.
Okay, this is a really good segue because now we're talking about how to actually put them into a battle. All right, let's go.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Whimsicott's a perfect choice here over Gliscor. He's also one of the most common Tailwind users in the game because he has Prankster. Prankster is an ability that gives status moves priority.
Oh, is that? I keep hearing about what Prankster is on stuff, and I never really looked up what it did. Interesting.
So
okay.
That's literally what it does. It gives status moves priority. And Whimsicott is by far the best user of Prankster that we have in Champions. By far. Because it has access to Encore. So your opponent goes for a turn 1 protect, you can Encore
and you're
them,
stuck.
Encore lock them into it.
Yeah.
And it only has 8 PP in this game, so they're stuck on it for 3 turns. You gotta be really careful. With 5.
Okay, now that makes a lot of sense as to why you had it in that other team too. I got you.
Exactly.
Okay.
It's super easy to use too, and it has a very vast move pool. On a Sun team, you can give it Sunny Day. There's just a lot you can do. It has a very vast move pool of, you can give it something like a Focus Sash, like it shows right there, and the move Endeavor. They get you down to 1 HP. You click Endeavor. You're obviously slower than them, even in Tailwind, and you drop them immediately down to 1 HP. So
Easy,
strategies like that. It really just depends on what kind of niche you want to play into with that particular Whimsicott. Do you want to be an Encore spammer and force them to repeat the same move? Do you want to lock them into cycling Trick Rooms like there's no tomorrow, so they can't literally do anything else? Because if you put Trick Room on top of Trick Room, it cancels it.
Really? Oh, that makes sense. So a Trick Room. So 2 Trick Rooms will cancel each other out. Okay.
Correct. So if I click Trick Room and you click Trick Room at the same time, the one that went first gets canceled out by the second, so it does nothing. Okay,
so now neither one of you have a Trick Room available.
Correct.
Okay, it just goes back to normal. Okay, interesting.
Yep. So it just, yeah. So, I mean, there's that's where the experience comes into play.
Mm-hmm.
And I want to stress that point. That's really where the experience comes into play, is because you wouldn't know about interactions like that right off the bat.
No, of course, yeah.
You know, that's like way out in left field, like the Endeavor Whimsicott.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like Gabo MDP. Sometimes slower mons actually give you benefits, like winning a Weather War, Pelipper for... Yep, that's exactly a great point. You know, speed, like I said earlier, speed really does win it all.
Mm-hmm.
You know, the slower mon is going to set the weather.
Okay.
Because the faster mon goes first, obviously. So, I mean, there is interesting interactions like that, like my Tyranitar versus Megazard. Megazard up speeds, but the sand gets set because I went second.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so now I have a special defense boost to live your Solar Beam that's not stab, and I Rock Slide you in return for the one shot. So, I mean, that's where the strategies and doubles really comes into play.
Okay. So let's re-emphasize that point then.
In what way? I'm sorry.
No, you said that was you were emphasizing how good it was for doubles, and I'm just saying say it over again. So
I mean,
emphasize
interactions like that you can plan for. Okay.
So like the speed-based weather resets.
Exactly. Okay. So when you're looking at a team preview, I don't know if Go has this or not, but in VGC you have a team preview where you get to see all 6 Pokemon on your opponent's side.
Mm-hmm.
You know, champions, from the screenshots that we've seen, you get to see their typings.
Mm-hmm.
But you get no other information. You don't know what items they're holding. You don't know what natures they have, how they're trained, etc., etc. So that's the only information that you're given. Now, based on that information, your decision has to be, okay, I need to pick the 4 strongest mons against what I think they're going to bring to the table.
Mm-hmm.
But therefore, against my 4, I need to pick the stronger 4 out of my 6. Because they're going to pick the stronger 4 out of their 6. And you really just have to, like I said, when you're starting out, just play to your strengths. You know what I mean? Using that first team as an example, play to that Tailwind strength and see if you enjoy that kind of play style, and then switch it up and try Trick Room with Ursaluna.
Yeah, just give something else a try and see how it feels, yeah?
Exactly. Start by playing to your strengths, and then once you kind of get a feel for what other mons are doing, I guarantee you'll find something that is really interesting. You'll be like, oh man, I want to try that. And that's where the team building will come into play. But instead of doing that, you can always hop onto various resources like Champions Labs and find the team and then build it up from there. And then you have a strategy that you enjoy using, and you know it works because it probably, clapped those cheeks.
All right, so Raichu and Whimsicott are both sharing a focus sash. So how do I adjust for something like that? Because I like the concept of Raichu and Whimsicott, but how do we adjust so that we can actually run a team like this?
So to run a team like this, you could always throw a Citrus Berry on. I mean, Raichu's pretty frail, but its whole idea is to Volt Switch out or Paralyze. With this particular set, you don't have to go with that set. He has a vast move pool. But
yeah,
to answer your question, you got 2 mons that want to hold a focus sash, but one is fast and can pivot out. I would probably go with something like a Citrus Berry, or I mean, honestly, you could even go with a Choice Scarf, because he's in a medium speed tier anymore due to power creep.
Okay.
I mean, you could throw a vast number of items onto Raichu and be just fine. His main purpose is to come in, fake out to flinch your opponent, the biggest threat, or their setup Pokemon that's wanting to set up speed, and then pivot out with Volt Switch. So maybe a Life Orb to do more damage with Volt Switch. You could throw, like I said, Choice Scarf. Choice Scarf, you'd have to, manually swap him out that first.
Yeah, you couldn't fake out and then go for Volt Switch. You'd have to manually switch out. So I'm not a huge fan of because what's the point of running Volt Switch if we're gonna be doing something like that,
Yeah, I mean, there's not really anything that kind of supports that, and he's not weak to Intimidate. He's not weak to, I mean, You know what? I'll say this. Go ahead and throw an air balloon on him. That gives him effective so he has no weakness. Let's just go with that.
Okay. Where'd it go? All right, so we're getting close to time here. I don't want to... I got to get my kids to bed in about 10 minutes, so... Or no, we're going to watch an episode of Exploding Kittens, and then we're going to go take them to bed, so...
Yeah,
all right, so find the air balloon.
Before you get too busy, don't forget, we got a trade we need to get taken care of.
Whether it gets done right now, I will make sure that gets done. All right, I can't add a air balloon, so we'll just stick with Life Orb and just... Oh.
That's fine. That's fine. But that's just an example. Like, that's something you can do. And of course, in this game, Raichu has a Mega, so there's a lot more options.
Yeah.
There as well.
Mm-hmm.
And it's really up to you. I mean, me personally, it's not a bad idea to have a backup Mega because there might be a game plan.
I like the idea of having 2 Megas that you can run on your team.
And it's not uncommon.
63%? Bro, this team's absolutely raking in The Sims, bro.
Was it behind or something? Huh.
I should be showing my screen.
63%. So that what that tells you is that you have good type coverage, and that goes into your matchup. So you do 1,000 Sims, 63% of those games, you're going to win.
Mm-hmm.
Approximately.
Yeah.
Right. Now, obviously, a lot of that is speculation based on what we know about champions right now.
Right. Everything at this point is, could change at the drop of a hat.
Exactly. Like I said, they could throw us a curveball, and we're all grinding for VP with crap teams that we recruited on singles. Right. Like they could really throw us a curveball, and I wouldn't put it past the Pokemon.
Oh, and this team specifically would struggle versus Sunroom. That makes sense.
Yeah. Well, in this particular instance, you're not going to have a good matchup with everything.
Right. There's always, and that's the same thing with any game.
Just recognize, like, okay, Sun Trick Room is a bad matchup, so I'm gonna play the mons that are gonna do the best into that matchup. So I saw you add Drampa with Cloud9 into the team. Okay, I'm going into the Sun, so I'm gonna lead Drampa with Cloud9 and Intimidate Gyarados, and I'm gonna waterfall the living shit out of that Charizard.
Okay, now why though? What brought you to that choice? Why?
So it's what the abilities do. So Cloud9 nullifies all weather.
Oh. Okay, I didn't add Cloud9 on there. I had it on the Oh, but it can have Cloud9 when it's not Megas, which is what's going to happen when it comes out in the first place. It's going to activate. Okay, so Cloud9 is something that... Is it like a persistent ability that prevents people from using it? Oh, okay, I see.
As long as he's on the battlefield, the weather is nullified. It'll still show like in the game.
Okay.
That weather is there, because if he leaves the field, if he swaps out, or
it'll come out.
The weather will resume.
Okay.
If it still has time left.
Okay.
But as long as he's there big chilling, then there's no sun.
He's big chilling.
Which means the entire game plan falls apart.
Yeah.
Their Venusaur is in big time trouble.
Yes. Oh, I like that concept.
Because it doesn't have doubled speed, and it doesn't get the boost from for Solar Beam and all that kind of stuff. It's in big time doo doo. Without the speed, that sleep powder ain't doing nothing.
Yeah. I like it, bro. That's cool, dude. That's really cool. I feel like I have a good I feel like some of this is it's just coming back to me. Like, I feel like you've unlocked a lot of the things that were buried deep down from when I was playing in Gen 4, and it's just kind of improved itself now that we've been able to take it to this point. So, okay, I understand to a degree how we're making teams, and I like that you had this, like, thought of, I've got a plan for weather. Like, so you want to make sure that, like, okay, I know my good matchups. I'm not paying as much attention to how to deal with things like Paris Trap and maybe some other things that we have good matchups into, but we want to focus a little bit more on our strategies when we see these bad matchups, because those are the ones that we're going to probably have the most trouble with.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, there's no such thing as a perfect team.
Of course, yeah.
You can't play to your weaknesses 100%, but you can play to your strengths.
Home is $2.99 a month, yeah.
You have to understand that you're not going to recognize what a team is doing until you play against it. for the first time.
Yeah, that makes sense.
That's what took me years
Yeah.
to finally understand.
Okay.
And that's why I'm here, is to offer my experiences. Like, hey, this is what comes with experience. This is what you can do if you have a good idea and you know kind of the steps and what to focus on, and you can always make adjustments as you go. Like, okay, hey, this item didn't really work out too well on this mon, so I'm going to change it to this and see how that goes. So that's where the really complicated part comes into the team building aspect of it.
Yeah. Well, what I'm gonna say, dude, before we get wrapped up here, because I just want to say thank you for taking this time. I know that you were telling me you were looking for something to do, bro, but like genuinely, this has helped me a lot. It's a really good starting point for us to jump in tomorrow and try and figure out some of this stuff. And I've got all this stuff. I just have to build it. Like, this is really cool, bro. Like, I cannot thank you enough for, even though you're not like this, elite top tier regional winner guy, but I can tell you know what you're talking about, dude. And that means more to me as someone who does the same for other trainers in Pokemon Go, that like this has helped immensely. I need to get the experience of doubles, but so, okay, real quick, I guess the last thing I'll ask before we wrap up then, aside from just figuring out your opener, right? So you look at the team that your opponent's got, and you try to figure out, okay, what's the best Pokemon that I can lead with that's going to disrupt their strategy? That sounds like what I'm hearing, right?
Yes.
Okay.
So your lead is extremely important.
Okay, so that makes sense, right? So now what happens? What happens after the lead? How do you apply a doubles VGC mindset to the rest of a game? Afterwards, I assume it's not just trying to read opponents and pivoting things to try to take resisted damage. There's got to be other stuff to this.
Absolutely. So, like I said, common leads you're going to see is Intimidate, Fake Out. Okay. You're also going to see a lot of double protects to, kind of bait out what you're going to do. You're going to reveal that game plan, or have your opponent reveal their game plan to you by protecting yourself. If they're going to fake you out, or if they're going to parting shot, or try to sleep powder you, there's a vast number of things that they could do. And based on the mons that you see, once you have the experience, kind of what those mons do. So to give an example, when I see Whimsicott, I know it's going to put up Tailwind. I know it's going to have some other goofy gimmick and probably carry Moonblast and Protect. So, it's either going to taunt me, encore me, Endeavor. There's just a vast number of things that I know that mon can do, and it 9 times out of 10 carries a focus sash. So my strategy against something like that is I want to deal some chip damage to it in 2 hits, so I can get rid of it in 1 turn. Yes, they get the Tailwind up, but they only get it for 4 turns. And it's really just a matter of tempo from there.
Okay, so okay, I'm trying to wrap my head into a way that I understand this stuff. So tell me if what I say to you makes sense based on what you just told me, right? So we're looking to basically take apart the opponent's plan one piece by one piece. You're trying to get those knockouts, obviously, wherever you can. But are you like, you're saying that you've like identified the Whimsicott as a primary target of something that I want to get rid of right away, or like how does
Not
your
necessarily.
Okay.
It depends on who it's standing next to. Oftentimes it's a support mon. Generally speaking,
makes sense.
It's going to support what his team's going to be doing for speed. Because its main thing is setting up the Tailwind to double the speed for 4 turns.
Makes sense.
So that's the first thing they click 9 out of 10 times. Maybe a Protect to try to, another strategy, just like with the Rain, they'll stagger speed control to keep it longer than you. So if you open up with Tailwind, your opponent might Protect that first turn and then Tailwind the next turn, so they keep Tailwind longer than you.
Makes sense.
And that can be the difference between winning and losing. It really is kind of that simple. The only exception to that really is Trick Room. You can't stack Trick Room on Trick Room because they cancel each other and it just goes away. So, I mean, my experience has taught me that Whimsicott is a threat. Yes, I want it gone as soon as possible because it's going to do annoying things to me. But if it's sitting next to, let's say a Garchomp, and I'm going to use that first team as an example because I know people love Charizard like me.
Yeah.
And I know we're going to see a lot of Charizard out there.
Definitely.
So, if I'm Charizard Venusaur or I'm Charizard Whimsicott because I want to set up Tailwind with Whimsicott, so I have a Grass and Fire type on the battlefield and I see a Whimsicott and let's just say, for example, a Garchomp. Well, Garchomp has access to Rock Slide. Charizard does not want to deal with that.
No, absolutely not.
Garchomp is naturally faster than Charizard, so under Tailwind, he's still faster. So, because of that, I know I can't stop the Tailwind, so I'm going to get my big attacker out of the way of that Rock Slide, switch in something that resists it.
So you're saying that you're reading that the Garchomp is going to bring in, or going to go for the Rock Slide. So you're actively saying, I'm getting my Charizard the hell out of dodge and trying to bring in something that's not going to end up taking a lot of damage from that Rock Slide.
Yes, I want something that can take that hit and then return damage to that Garchomp to get off the field. Because at that point, you're not going to stop Tailwind unless you have a Taunt user. But there's other items that Whimsicott can run. I myself have ran Mental Herb, which nullifies Taunt. I've ran Covert Cloak, which nullifies Fake Out. Common ways to stop speed control from going up is Fake Out and Taunt, making them flinch.
Yeah.
So, I don't know what item it's holding. So you basically just kind of have to roll the dice and say, okay, I'm going to say that thing is holding a Focus Sash, but it's not a threat as long as I'm not using, as long as I'm not playing into what its game plan is. Like I said, if you know it has a Focus Sash, be prepared for Endeavor to come out.
Okay.
Because then they immediately put you at 1 HP, and that's just horrible. It feels horrible.
Yeah.
It sucks.
Yeah, because then it's like, oh, I'm just one breath away from a knockout. Yeah.
Exactly. So one spread move from that Garchomp sitting next to it, Earthquake, and you're done. Or a Rock Slide in this instance.
Yeah.
So, I mean, it's strategies like that you really, when you're selecting your lead, you have to make your best guess at, kind of put yourself in your opponent's shoes and say, okay, what are the biggest threats on my opponent's team and what mons are going to sit next to it to make it better?
Okay.
Like Whimsicott and Garchomp, for example. And how can I counter that? So in this instance, Charizards can run Air Slash, but I need to keep that in the back in this particular example to avoid that Rock Slide because Charizard will not live.
So in this case, it might be worth that team we were just looking at. It might be worth it to have something like the Primarina in the lead because it can Ice Beam the Garchomp, right?
Exactly.
Okay.
If you predict Whimsicott Garchomp, you have an Ice type move, even though it's not, stab.
I mean, it's still double super effective. It's gonna hurt, dude.
It's 4 times super effective on the Chomp, and it's 2 times super effective on the Whimsicott. So you have double coverage on their lead right there with one move.
Yeah.
So, I always try to build teams where I have plenty of different coverage, specifically for my weaknesses.
Makes sense.
Is what I try to do. I don't try to cover absolutely everything.
Yeah, just whatever you're
weak to. But I try to cover my weaknesses. I'll double or triple up on, Pokemon that I know are going to carry rock coverage in my Charizard team. I'm going to double or triple up, or like I said, I could just pivot out into Ursaluna.
I was literally thinking of Ursaluna as you said that. I'm like,
exactly.
There's a ground type in there. It looks like Ursaluna makes sense.
Yep. So I would pivot out into Ursaluna, get my Tailwind up. Ursaluna's pretty slow, but in Tailwind, it's still a monster.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. It's got a lot of stats to it. Yeah. Awesome, dude.
So, but
2 hours till Champions Trainers. It's coming, and I'm gonna be here in about 12 hours, looking to stream it live on both here on Twitch and on YouTube. And if you guys are hanging out with us on Twitch, by the way, thank you. It's my first Twitch stream, so it's really cool to be able to finally get the chance to stream over on Twitch. But we're doing video content. Yo, Derpalor's back just before we finish up the stream. Welcome back, Trainer. Good to see you. We're going to be uploading YouTube videos this week, trying to see if we can't help some trainers get started in Champions, some tips from a guy who's literally learning everything like everyone else is and is not a resident expert. What's up, Plepopotamus? Good to see you. you, Trainer. I'm sorry to say that we're about to finish the stream up, but I'm going to plug Red real quick because if you guys have been hanging out with us the entire time, like, I hope that this information has helped. I think that we have gotten a ton of really awesome information, and I always leave the stream VODs up wherever I can. I'm sure they'll be on, I think they're on Twitch for like 7 days, and then the stream VODs on YouTube will be up permanently. I never take them down. So if you guys want to go back and watch or listen to any of this stuff, head over to the YouTube channel and check out stream recording, or over here on Twitch, wherever you prefer to be. And Red, anything you want to say before we hang up, man?
Well, I just hope I was able to help you guys out
Immensely, bro.
Like I said, I'm not a champion or anything like that, but I felt like I had something to offer. And
immensely,
I hope
bro.
I succeeded in that. And you guys can look forward to some more content to this effect on my channel as well.
Yep, Red's an aspiring creator, going to start trying to jump in it into champions, kind of like I have. Their channel's very small over on YouTube, but if you enjoyed the information that you guys got today, very, very, very smart trainer, dude. And you guys might be able to learn a thing or two from him as well. So I plugged his channel down here in the chats, both of them. So no, Champions doesn't come out for another couple hours yet. I've actually got the timer up here on the screen. It's over there. And I'll be here tomorrow. Scarf Reggie Drago. I'm gonna keep it in the back of my mind, bro, because that sounds kind of fun. I love Reggie Drago. As a Go player, Reggie Drago is hella fun, dude. All right. Trainers, I appreciate y'all very much. I'm going to close the stream up for now. Your boy's going to have to get... I was going to try to make a video tonight, bro, but I think I'm just going to get some sleep. But I'm going to try to see if I can't condense this information down and put it on the channel for you guys to get like a little bit more of a Reader's Digest version if stream VODs aren't your thing. But either way, dude, Red, once again, thank you very much, bro. I really appreciate you taking the time and enlightening my chat with all this information, and I'm really excited for tomorrow, dude. I am gonna jump straight in with both of these teams that we built because dude, I cannot wait.
Oh, me neither, man. I've been going since 1 a.m. this morning, and I have not stopped. Like,
I bet, dude.
I'm very tempted to just keep going until I literally fall over.
No, don't do that. Don't fall over until we get this trade done. We'll get this trade done after the stream, and then after that, you can go fall over.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. That sounds great to me. Well, guys, thank you so much for having me. Thank you, Xehr, for inviting me on. And
dude, thank you for leaving that comment, bro. That never would. Dude, thank you for reaching out in the comment, bro. That was awesome. I really appreciate it. All right, I'm cutting it out, trainers. It's time. I gotta go spend some time with the kids before we go to bed and everything. So I appreciate y'all. I'll be seeing you guys in about 12 hours for the big stream. We're gonna do it for I'm gonna do 6 hours, as long as I can without just dropping dead, bro. I'll catch you guys in the next stream, and as always, thank you very much for watching. I appreciate all of you guys, and I'll catch you guys next time. Bye.
Peace.